Hey guys, Czar back with you. Hope all is well. It's 11:20 a.m. Just watching the Nasdaq now. Let's take a look at the S&P as well. S&P, okay, cool. Let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow has completed a zone here. This clean traffic from this morning. Sent these zones out to my group, and now this has completely closed that gap, so to speak. Not a technical gap, but you understand, I hope. Could put a horizontal line here too. Actually, this is to be consistent with the other ones I sent out. The Dow here, top of the candle. S&P now, top of the candle, met, and the Nasdaq blown through. Complete double top and rejection beginning where rejection happened before. I'm going to take you now to the VWAP, where we were about 2.5 standard deviations away from the volume weighted average price of all transactions that occurred here in the futures trading session. I'm going to erase it now that we know that we are fairly extended on the VWAP. I'm going to get rid of it so we don't have to look at it, and we're just going to focus on naked price action, naked candles, if you will. And so this is what we have so far here, guys. We have a double top, which goes way back to here. See that there? These circles are from another illustration I was making with my group yesterday, so it's no longer applicable. But let's just say this double top is that whole zone there, right? And I'll bring you back to the main screen, or the trading screen. This is on the 30-minute. This is the double top that I was talking about right there. So from yesterday, New York, mid to late New York, right? Let's go back to the 1-minute chart, and you'll see yesterday, mid to late New York. This is Asia, London, New York. There's that double top. I'm going to get rid of that now because we know where it is. And I just want to focus in on this micro action that we're seeing here. Time of day is important. Germany and the UK closing soon. This daylight savings time thing has messed me up a little bit because they will actually equalize with us here in the New York time zone. Well, the differential will equalize this coming weekend. So for 2 weeks, ending this weekend, we've been, let's say, between New York and London has been a 5-hour difference instead of a 4-hour difference instead of a 5-hour difference, and so that's a little bit different than usual. And then Frankfurt is even 1 hour more difference. So all that to say is, watching this very closely. I'd be looking for a breakdown here and an opportunity to go short. Even though this is a very bullish move here today, I believe there's a reasonable chance that it's drawing to a pausing point at the very least. We are up 2.3% today on NASDAQ futures. We're up 1.5% on the S&P and 1.25% on the Dow. Again, 2.3% on the NASDAQ, 1.5% S&P, and 1.25% on the Dow. Significant move, but almost twice the move on the NASDAQ than on the Dow, and that's why I'm focusing on the Nasdaq here. And Nasdaq often will move with a higher beta than the Dow or the S&P, so that's to be expected. But this is the play that I'm looking at. All right, I'm going to put you on pause for now, and I'll bring you back as this materializes. I just wanted to set the stage for what I'm thinking, and then we'll get into a potential trade here. Second trade of the day, if we do. I've only had the one earlier. Nice 60-point win. All right, on the Dow. Back in a minute. All right, guys, I actually stepped away for one moment here, the second time today. I'm looking to take this thing short right now at the market. And in now. I'm getting in a little bit late here, but that's okay. This is a 1-minute chart, so that's not a huge move or anything. Obviously, I could have got a better price, it seems now, but we're only looking at 5.5 points on the Nasdaq. That's not a big difference at all. But the stop will be above this pivot that you see here, right? You see that clearly there. And we'll be looking for this move to come all the way back down to here. So be a 1-to-1, 1.1 actually. And I'm going to put VWAP back on just to show you relative to where the VWAP is. way down here, we're only looking for a halfway trip to there, and it'll be the just inside the body of this pivot candle. See that there? Make that nice and big for you. I'll draw this line so you can see it very clearly right here. That's typically where I like to target on a move, something like this, and it has everything to do with this range that you see here, kind of where this range is captured. The clean move, I'm willing to take that. Another way you can do it is to target up here above the sideways range. There's different ways to do it. That would be a more conservative target. I'm going for a little bit more aggressive here, as you can see. As many of you will know, I typically wait for a close and a break and close outside of a zone. This is a micro zone. Again, this is a 2-minute chart. Let me just get rid of the VWAP again. I wait for the break and close, this pullback, and I would typically, actually basically got in where I would normally get in. I just wasn't sitting here watching it unfold as I typically am. It's the second time I've had to leave during a trade with an automatic order sitting. Actually, this one I had to do at the market, but you get the idea. All right, so I'm going to go put this on pause, guys. This is not going in the right direction, but that's okay. The trade idea is still very much intact, and this is because we have, let me just work it out for you here so you can see. I'll walk through it. Impulse wave here, corrective, impulse, and rejection at the double top that I showed you earlier, right? So you can think rejection, little pullback, a little attempt here, and reject it again at the key level, and then a sell-off. Now that becomes the impulse, and a corrective, which failed to make a new high. Impulse. We're now in a corrective. In a perfect world, this thing would stop before it gets beyond. It can even make a double top and we'd be okay there. Kind of like that. And then looking for this thing to come on down. It's usually not as clean as I'm illustrating right now, but it can often be something fairly close to that. Let me just undo that and clean this up a little bit. Boom. Boom. I think you know what's coming next. It's boom. Okay, so that's just to show you from a price action standpoint, trade idea standpoint. You know, some would call this kind of a messy head and shoulders top, but again, it's on the micro scale, right? We're talking about the 1 minute chart here. All right, but watching closely now, and from a symmetry standpoint, we're looking at something like this here. All right, impulse, corrective, impulse, rejection at prior resistance way over here, if you remember, right? A double top. Let me just show that again to you on the other screen. This is the 30-minute chart. There it is. Body, body, rejection wicks. Body, body, rejection wicks. Make sense? And so you can think of this as a kind of a shoulder, compound head, two heads, and a shoulder, and then a break below the neckline. So now we have this very much intact. If this is in fact a head and shoulders, the pattern looks like this, more or less. And when a neckline is broken, we often do have a retest of the neckline and then a drop down below. That's just really old school textbook technical analysis, pattern recognition. No rocket science there whatsoever, but is in fact how the market often plays out. All right. Another way to look at this is a compound head and shoulders, and that means two shoulders, two heads, and two shoulders, and then the break of the neckline. So then now at this point, the neckline would actually be here. Right, so now we would need a neckline from there. You can actually think of it as a neckline zone, if you will. And I'll just use the same color that I used before. The neckline zone would be here to here, right? So one, shoulder two, head, shoulder, shoulder, and then a break below. Now, if you saw anybody in real life with, 4 shoulders in total and 2 heads, it would not be normal. but this thing can be very normal in the world of price action, thankfully. And so we can give it the attention it deserves. All right, pause now, guys. I'll bring you back. All right, guys, a few minutes have passed, and you can see that we've pulled back and talked about this double top here, potential. And we've had that now, and this thing could go higher. We could be stopped out. We being me, could be stopped out and be a routine loss. Let's see if this thing wants to go higher. Given the grinding nature of this, I'm actually tempted to give it a bit more room, moving my stop back a little bit here. I think that might be a very smart thing to do through reading of price action. I rarely move my stops backwards, guys, even for a small amount, because I have a rule. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm just going to take the hit if necessary, and we'll take it from there. All right, back on pause. All right, guys, a few minutes have passed and still very much alive here. And back to break even on this trade. We did get that double top here. Micro double top, of course. Continuation double top. And now trying to push down. I'll put you on pause. Hey guys, we're back. And as you can see, we're finally driving down here. I wouldn't say driving down, moving down here a little bit. Came very close to being stopped out. A couple of, 3 or 4 points. And fortunately, I have very tight spreads, and it's not an issue for me. But I know that some people might. 10, 11, nah, it's not close enough, but that's the beauty of futures and interactive brokers. It's very, very tight spreads and accurate execution. Love it. All right, watching this now, guys. See if we can drive down. And back on pause. I'll bring you back. Moving down a little bit again. So you'll see that this trade idea was delayed from here. I'm getting a really weird echo in my microphone. I'm just wondering why. Give me one moment, guys. Yeah, no, it seems to be okay. All right. So this was delayed here, this piece. Let me just show it to you with... So instead of coming all the way down, it went back up. We got a triple top and then ranged, lower low. So we make it this delayed move here. Let's see if we can complete this. And that's price action, fairly typical. Just have to be patient sometimes for your idea to play out or to be stopped out, and that's fine too. It just means the market's not willing to do what you want it to do or what you expect it right now. It might do it later. Watching. And back on pause for your sake. Here we go. All right. Slowly, guys. We are into the twilight zone now. It's 12:21, lunchtime for New York. But Europe is closed, and so sometimes this market will fall by gravity. You'll hear me say that often during the lunch break. And I just call it lunch break, as obviously there's a lot of forces involved here, and not all of them are sitting with their lunch bag, off to the side, refraining from the trading, the trading screens. But it just helps you put in perspective where we often get some sideways grinding movement, as you can see here, case in point. But looking for this thing to drop down eventually. We'll see if that happens. Pause again. All right, guys, a long time has passed here, and we rallied back up again, as you can see. Another new low, so we had equal another new high. Another lower high is what I'm really trying to say. That's what happens when you take a break and kind of doze off for a while. But we got these low series of lower highs, equal high here, and with a little bit of a pop above, of course, and then another lower one. Trying to break a little bit of minor support here. We'll see if we can get through and then reach the promised land. Been very patient on this one, guys, as you can tell, and just letting it play out. An amateur trader may take profits here and just say, I can't take this anymore. Just let me get out, because it keeps going above my purchase price, in this case my entry price being a sell price, but you get the idea. And we seem to be moving down here a little bit now. It's 12:41. We are very much in the twilight zone, and looking for this thing to continue down. I'll put you back on pause for now. All right, guys, finally pushing down here a little bit. Really taking its time. Unbelievably time-consuming trade. Now, this video is only 16 minutes long. I know it's pretty long, but you can see this trade is much longer than that. I don't know if it can show. Yeah, here we go. 1 hour and 18-minute trade so far. So I've been pausing all the way along, waiting for this thing to play out. And as you can see, had the initial series of impulse and correctives, and then my theory was, straight down, and then we had to go sideways for a bit. My next theory was here, and now, of course, we've had to adjust one more time, at least one more time, to do it like this. And that's just the way price action works, especially during what I talked about earlier, the twilight zone, that grinding sideways period. But you notice that the bias is still very much in line with the trade idea. And that's all we can do, is deal with the trade idea. We take the coin toss, we call heads, and we wait for it to play out with all of its nuances and idiosyncrasies and what have you. And you're seeing that happen here in this trade. It's actually a really good example of that. So I'm glad you're seeing it. I'm going to wait for this together. Let me take you, this will be interesting too. I'll take you back over to the main trading screen. Remember, we were on the 30-minute chart and how we had hit this double top and then rejected. And the whole trade idea is this idea of coming back down again, right? And so it's happening, but look at the way that it's taken. Look at this doji style candle, very indecisive, 30 minutes, half of an hour there. Really with nothing accomplished. Essentially, and now this one is finally driving down a little bit. My target is right here at the bottom of this candle right here. That's my take profit area, and now of course we're bouncing back up again. You'll see that there. So we'll put you on pause again, guys, and we'll take it from there. Really being patient here, guys. I think we're about an hour and a half into this trade now. Yeah, an hour and 28 minutes since entering. And just grinding. And this is why, by the way, I send a note to my group almost every day talking about the twilight zone and how this is when I go for a 5-kilometer walk, or I go to the gym and work out. Sometimes I do both during the same period, just to avoid getting caught up in a money losing trade. This will be a profitable trade, no matter what. I shouldn't say no matter what. It could suddenly spike, but I would likely shut this down and break even if it does rally up. But you can really get caught up in these sideways trades, and this one I happened to enter just before, if you remember, twilight zone. So I'm getting caught up in it possibly could have waited until later on, but it's okay. Pause again, guys. Actually, I need to step out of my office. I need to step out of my office for a couple of minutes here. I'm going to play this. I'm going to let this play, and it may hit either stop out or break even. Pardon me, either stop out, break even, or take profit while I'm attending to something over here. Sorry for sounding so distracted, guys. I kind of am. I got to do something here, help out the family. Give me one moment. All right, guys, I'm back, and I just literally walked back in my office as we hit this, guys. Thanks for your patience on this one. And we just hit the 42 and 75 points, and a nice little win there. I'm going to let you go. Half an hour video. Appreciate your support. Take care.